Hello everyone, in this video we're going to see about the previous year questions that were asked in CSIR NET and GATE exam from VSEPR theory. So let's begin with the first question. So the first question tells you that among the following pairs, those in which both the species have similar structure. So they are talking about similar structure, okay. So they have given options. First one is N3 minus and XeF2. So if you consider A is N3 minus. N3 minus is azide ion. So N3 minus is basically linear in shape. It looks something like this. This nitrogen will have a positive charge. This is going to be negative, negative. So one plus and minus will get neutralized. So there is going to be overall negative charge. So this is going to be linear in shape. Okay. So if you consider XeF2, in case of XeF2, you have two bond pairs, right? You have bond pairs is equal to 2. And if you have to find the lone pair, what you can do, you can find the value of quotient, that is half into number of valence electrons of central atom, that is 8, plus number of monovalent atoms, that is 2. So it's going to give you 5. Then lone pair is nothing but quotient value minus this bond pair value. So 5 minus 2, that is going to give you 3. So there are 3 lone pairs. So what they are telling you is that they are asking you to find the structure. So here bond pair is 2 and lone pair is 3. If bond pair is 2 and lone pair is 3, it's going to exist as linear. Yes, it's going to exist as linear. Basically, the geometry will be trigonal bipyramidal. XeF2. 2 fluorine will be like this and the 3 lone pairs will be like this. I have made a separate video on how to find out the shapes and geometries and hybridization of molecules using VSEPR theory. So if you are interested, you can visit that video. I'll leave the link in the description. So here the answer is, for this question, among the following, those in which both the species have similar structure. They are talking about similar structure. So N3 minus is also linear and XeF2 is also linear. So in A case, both the species are going to have similar structure. So A is going to be there in your answer. So eliminate option D. Now move to the next one. If you consider option B, right, they are talking about ICl4 minus, okay, ICl4 minus and PtCl4. In case of ICl4 minus, what we can do, the bond pair is equal to 4, right? And if you have to find the lone pair, first find the quotient value, half into iodine has 7 valence electron plus 4 monovalent atoms plus 1. So it is going to give you 6. So the lone pair is going to be 2. So if it is 42, that is 4 bond pairs and 2 lone pairs. If it is 42, the shape is going to be square planar. Okay. Similarly, if you consider PtCl4 minus, see, basically, you know, if you these kind of transition metals, you can't find out using this trick. Okay, you can't find the quotient value and find out. Usually for transition main block elements, you can do this very well, but for transition elements, in case of platinum, no, platinum belongs to 4D series. Sorry, 5D series, right? Platinum belongs to 5D series. So in case of 4D and 5D series, okay, D8 species, if it is a D8 species belonging to 4D or 5D series, then all ligands will act as strong field ligand. Then it is always going to be square planar. Okay, so basically, if I have to tell you, you have nickel, then you have palladium and then platinum, right? All three are D8 species. They have 8 electrons in their valence shell. This belongs to 3rd period and this belongs to 4th period, and platinum belongs to 5th period. Now in case of 3rd period element, how do we decide whether it's going to be tetrahedral? If the coordination number is 4, if the coordination number is equal to 4, there are two possibilities. What are they? Either it can be tetrahedral or it can be square planar. How do we decide? In case of D8 species belonging to 3rd period, if it is a 3rd period element, okay, if it is a 3rd period element, then if it is a weak field ligand, then it's going to be tetrahedral. If it is a strong field ligand, then it's going to be square planar. This is for 3rd period element. If the metal belongs to 4th or 5th period, then all ligands will act as strong field ligands. Okay, so all ligands will be acting as strong field ligands, and in that case it's always going to be square planar. So PtCl4 2 minus is also square planar since it belongs to 5th period. So B, in case of B also, both the atoms, can you see, ICl4 minus is also square planar, PtCl4 2 minus is also square planar. So B is also supposed to be there. Okay, B is also supposed to be there. So you can eliminate option B. Now if you check option C, right, if you check option C, in case of option C, they have given you ClF2 plus and ICl2 minus. For this we can very well check. What do we do? ClF2 plus, right? So what do we do? The bond pair is equal to 2. Okay, then find the quotient value, which is equal to half into number of valence electrons of central atom 7 plus number of monovalent atoms is 2. Here there is a positive charge. So what do? You put minus 1 over here. So it's going to be 4. The quotient is equal to 4. So the lone pair is equal to 2. If it is 2, 2, that is 22, then the shape is going to be bent. Okay, the shape is going to be bent. I have made a detailed video on this. You can check the description for the link. Okay, in case of ICl2 minus, if we check, the bond pair is equal to 2 and the quotient is equal to half into 7 plus 2 plus 1, right? So it's going to be 5. Then the lone pair is equal to 5 minus 2. So it's going to be 3, right? So bond pair is 2 and lone pair is 3. If bond pair is 2 and lone pair is 3, is going to be linear. Okay, so in the third option, they don't have the same shape. ClF2 plus is going to be bent in shape. ICl2 minus is basically linear in shape. So which of this is satisfying? Only option A and B. So the correct answer is option A. Let's move to the next question. Okay, in this question, what they are asking us to do is that they are asking us to match. Okay, list 1 and list 2 they have given. They are asking us to match the correct pair. Okay, they have given the shapes in the list 2 and they have given the compounds in the list 1. Let's start doing. The first one is XeO4. See, if you know this trick, no, it's going to be very easy to solve the questions. Okay, so bond pair is equal to 4. Okay, that too particularly these kinds of question, no, you can easily solve them. Okay, because the formula is simple, the substitution is simple, everything is going to be easy. So the bond pair is equal to 4, right? So the quotient is equal to half into valence electron of xenon is 8 and there are no monovalent atoms. So leave it as such, there is no charge as well. So quotient is equal to 4. If you consider lone pair is 0. So bond pair is equal to 4 and lone pair is equal to 0. So then it's going to be tetrahedral. Okay, so XeF4 it's going to be XeO4 is going to be tetrahedral. Okay, so it should be 2. Okay, A should be 2. Now let's check for B. Okay, let's check for B. B is BrF4 minus. Okay, so in this case what will happen? Half bond pair is equal to 4 again. Bond pair is equal to 4. Find out the quotient value, half into 7 plus 4 plus 1. So quotient is equal to 6, right? Quotient is equal to 6. The lone pair is equal to 2. So if it is 42, what is it? 42 is nothing but square planar. 42 is square planar. So just check, 42 is square planar. So BrF4 minus should be square planar. So A is 2, B is 1, A2, B1. So the answer is option C. We can check C also. In case of C, it is SeCl4 is given, right? So in case of SeCl4, the bond pair is equal to 4 and the quotient is equal to half into number of valence electron of central atom selenium. Okay, so 6 plus 4. Okay, so it's going to be 5 and lone pair is equal to 1. So bond pair is equal to 4 and lone pair is equal to 1. So what is it? It is going to be seesaw. There is another term for seesaw. We call it as distorted tetrahedron. We can call it as either seesaw or distorted tetrahedron. Both are the same. So SeCl4 is distorted tetrahedron. So the answer is option C. Let's move to the next question. Okay, in this question, they are asking us, according to VSEPR theory, the molecular ion which has an ideal tetrahedral shape. Okay, ideal tetrahedral shape. See, whenever they tell you ideal, okay, ideal means all the surrounding ligands. Okay, all the surrounding ligands should be the same. And all the surrounding ligands should be same. That means ideal condition. Surrounding ligands should be same. Okay, then only we call it as ideal. If you consider SF4, no, in case of SF4, just check whether it is tetrahedral first. See, bond pair is equal to 4. When will we get tetrahedral? When the lone pair is equal to 0. If we consider the quotient, it's half into sulfur has 6 electrons in the valence shell plus 4. So quotient is equal to 5. So the lone pair is equal to 1. So it is 41. 41 is not tetrahedral. 41 is seesaw. Okay, 41 is seesaw. So it is not tetrahedral. So leave it. Now moving on to the second option, option B. SO4 2 minus is basically tetrahedral. Why? Because bond pair is equal to 4. Quotient is equal to half into lone pairs on sulfur is 6 plus monovalent atoms we don't have, but we have minus 2. So we put plus 2. So quotient is equal to 4. So the lone pair is equal to 0. Therefore, this is going to be tetrahedral. Just check whether it is ideal. What did I tell you? All the surrounding atoms should be the same. So this is ideal tetrahedral. Now S2Cl2 is not going to be tetrahedral, but in case of SO2Cl2, no, SO2Cl2 will have a tetrahedral shape, but then it's not ideal. See, just check, a bond pair is equal to 4, right? Because 2 oxygen and 2 chlorine. If you consider quotient, half into 6, okay, plus number of monovalent atoms is 2. So quotient is going to give you 4. So the lone pair is going to be 0. It is tetrahedral. If I have to draw and show you, sulfur will be at the center and there are 2 oxygen atoms. So it will be something like this, okay. 1 Cl, 1 Cl. This is going to be SO2 Cl2. There are no lone pairs on the central atom. SO4 2 minus will exist something like this. Okay, O minus, O minus. This is what we call it as SO4 2 minus. So if you consider in SO4 2 minus, all the surrounding ligands are same. So ideal tetrahedral means that only. So the answer is option B. Let's move to the next question. Okay, in this question, they are asking us to find out the structures, okay, which means the shape, XeF2 and XeO2F2. Okay, fine. So, in case of XeF2, what is it? Bond pair is equal to 2 and you will have 3 lone pairs, okay, lone pair is equal to 3. So, I've already done it previously now only, okay, or else I can do and show you half into, what do you do? 8 plus 2. So, it's going to be 5. So, quotient is equal to 5. So, the lone pair is equal to 5 minus 2. So, it's going to be 3. If it is 23, the shape is going to be linear. So, XeF2 should be linear. Okay, XeF2 is linear. Then, if you consider XeO2F2, okay, if you consider XeO2F2, again, what is it? Bond pair is equal to 4 and quotient is equal to half into 8 plus 2. So, it's equal to 4. So, the lone pair is equal to, the quotient is equal to 5. Right, the quotient is equal to 5. So the lone pair is equal to 1. So it is bond pair is equal to 4 and lone pair is equal to 1. So the shape is going to be seesaw. Okay, so the correct answer is option C. Okay, in this question they are asking us to find out the structure of these two. Okay, what are those two? One is SbPH5, the other one is PPH5. Okay, so SbPH5 and PPH5. Basically, in both the cases, the bond pair is equal to 5. And if you consider the lone pair, antimony and phosphorus both belong to group 15, right? Both belong to group 15. So the valence electron is equal to 5. So the lone pair is going to be 0. So when the bond pair is equal to 5 and the lone pair is equal to 0, no, basically there are two possibilities. Either it could be trigonal bipyramidal. Okay, either it could be trigonal bipyramidal, which is a most common case, or it can also be square pyramidal. Now what we need to know is that we need to know when and all square pyramidal is possible. Okay, so there are certain criteria under which a square pyramidal geometry is possible. Okay, there are two things. One is if central atom belongs to 5th or 6th period. Okay, if the central atom belongs to 5th or 6th period, then it could be square pyramidal provided the surrounding ligands, okay, provided the surrounding ligands are bulky. These are the two conditions under which a molecule can have a square pyramidal geometry. One is the central atom should belong to either 5th or 6th and the surrounding ligand should be bulky. See, in both the cases, what is the surrounding ligand? The surrounding ligand is phenyl, right? That to 5 phenyl rings are attached. Phenyl is this, right? So there are 5 phenyl rings which are attached. So the surrounding ligands are quite bulky. Now just check the central atom. If you consider group 15, it is nitrogen, phosphorus, arsenic, antimony and bismuth. Okay, so 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. Phosphorus belongs to 3rd period. So in case of phosphorus, it belongs to 3rd period. So it is not satisfying the first criteria. So it's going to be trigonal bipyramidal. But antimony belongs to 5th period, right? So it's going to be square pyramidal. So the correct answer is PPH5 is going to be trigonal bipyramidal, but SbPH5 is going to be square pyramidal. So the answer is option B. Let's move to the next question. Okay, in this question, they are asking among SF4, BF4 minus, XeF4, ICl4 minus, how many species have two lone pairs? Okay, of electrons on the central atom. Okay, this is also quite easy. The first one is SF4. In case of SF4, the bond pair is equal to 4 and the lone pair is equal to 1. It's going to be seesaw shape, so there is one lone pair. In case of BF4 minus, in case of BF4 minus, bond pair is equal to 4. Now lone pair is equal to 0. How did I tell? See, basically boron, right? So quotient value find out. Half into boron valence electron is 3. Monovalent atoms are 4 plus 1. So quotient is equal to 4. So therefore 4 minus 4, which is going to give you 0. Lone pair is nothing but quotient minus bond pair. Okay, so 0. In case of XeF4, okay, so bond pair is equal to 4. Now how do you find the lone pair? Find the quotient. Half into 8 plus 4. So it's going to be 6. So the lone pair is equal to 2. So in this case the lone pair is 2. They are asking 2 only. And then ICl4 minus bond pair is equal to 4 and quotient is equal to half into 7 plus 4 plus 1. So which is equal to 6, right? So the lone pair is equal to 2. So in this case also lone pair is 2. So what are the two options? So basically there are no options here. I didn't attach the options. So the answer is going to be XeF4 and ICl4 minus. These two species will have two lone pairs. Let's move to the next question. In this question, they are asking the structure of SF4. Okay, they are asking the structure. See, basically, if we tell structure, uh, in some cases it means geometry, in some cases it means shape. Basically, structure has to mean geometry only. Okay, structure by itself means geometry. If we say structure, it means geometry. Okay. So SF4, they are asking the structure, which means they are asking the geometry. For geometry, just find the quotient value. So it's going to be bond pair is equal to 4. What about the quotient value? Half into 6 plus 4. So quotient is equal to 5, right? If quotient is equal to 5, consider it as 50. If it is 50, what is the shape or the geometry? The geometry is going to be a trigonal bipyramidal. So the answer is trigonal bipyramidal. So it is option C. Let's move to the next question. In this question, they are asking us to find the total number of lone pair of electrons that are present in I3 minus. Total number. Here, there is a slight twist in the question. They are not asking the number of lone pair of electrons on the central atom, but they are asking the total number of lone pairs, which means all together. Okay, but basically what is I3 minus? I3 minus exists as a linear shape. It has two bond pairs and three lone pairs. The central atom will have three lone pairs. Okay, so it will exist something like this. Okay, so this iodine is going to have three lone pairs. Similarly, this iodine will have three lone pairs. Okay, it's because there is only one bond, right? The valence electrons of iodine is 7. Valence electron is equal to 7. So the iodine has given one electron for bonding. So all the terminal iodine atoms are going to have three lone pairs. Similarly, this was also given one electron. So it's going to have three electrons, three lone pairs. In case of central atom, the central atom has given two electrons for bonding. But there is one charge. What charge? Negative charge. Okay, so it should have two lone pairs plus that negative charge. So overall, if you count the total lone pairs, the total lone pairs of electrons is equal to, each atom has 3. So 3 into 3, it's going to be equal to 9. So the correct answer is option D, 9, and not option B. Okay, let's move to the next question. Okay, this question says, which among the following has a planar structure? We have to find which has planar. Basically, they're talking about planar geometry. It can be trigonal planar or square planar. Okay, so it should be planar. All atoms should be in plane. So the first one is CO3 2 minus. It's trigonal planar, right? The bond pair is equal to 3. Lone pair will be 0. How? The quotient value find out, half into valence electron of central atom carbon is 4 plus there is a charge of minus 2. So you add plus 2. So it's going to be 3. So therefore the lone pair is going to be 0. If it is 30, it's going to be trigonal planar. So this is trigonal planar. Let's move to the second one. The second one is SO3. In case of SO3 again, bond pair is 3. What is the quotient? Half into 6. That's also it's 3. Again the lone pair is going to be 0. So again it's going to be trigonal planar. Now XeO3. In case of XeO3, bond pair is equal to 3. The quotient is equal to half into valence electron of central atom 8. So quotient is equal to 4. So the lone pair is equal to 1. So this is not trigonal planar. It is 31. Can you see? 31 is not trigonal planar, whereas it's pyramidal. Okay, this is pyramidal. So this cannot be the answer. And last one we will check. Last one is NO3 minus. Again, it's trigonal planar, right? Bond pair is equal to 3 and quotient is equal to half into 5 plus 1, which is equal to 3. Therefore, the lone pair is equal to 0. So it's again going to be trigonal planar. So your answer should contain CO3 2 minus, SO3 and NO3 minus. So just check. It's option D. Okay, let's move to the next question. The number of lone pairs, okay, the number of lone pairs that are identical, okay, which of these pairs will have the identical lone pairs of electrons? So if you consider A, it has XeF4. In case of XeF4, bond pair is equal to 4. Quotient is equal to half into 8 plus 4, which is equal to 6. Therefore, lone pair is equal to 2. So it has 2 lone pairs. Now if you consider ClF3, okay, bond pair is equal to 3. They are asking about lone pair. Okay, so half into 7 plus 3, which is equal to 5. So the lone pair is equal to 2. Again, it has 2 lone pairs. So the first itself is correct. So you don't have to check the rest of it. Okay, so the question is number of lone pairs that are identical. In XeF4 also there are 2. ClF3 also there are 2. XeF4 basically exists as it is 42, right? So it's going to be square planar. Whereas ClF3 it has 32. 32 is nothing but T shape. Okay, let's move to the next question. In this question, they are asking us to find the geometry of Br3 plus and IF5 plus. They are asking the geometry. Okay. Okay, let's do. See, first one is Br3 plus. So what is the bond pair? One bromine is going to be the central atom. So it's going to be bonded to 2 other bromine atoms. So the bond pair will be 2. Okay. Now you find the quotient. It is nothing but half into number of valence electron of central atom, it's 7, and there are 2 more bromine atoms attached. So number of monovalent atoms is 2. There is 1 plus 1 charge. So you put minus 1. So it's going to be 4. So the lone pair will be equal to 2. Okay. Now they are asking the geometry. So geometry, if you just find the quotient itself, it's sufficient. Quotient is 4, right? So the geometry is tetrahedral. You don't have to find the lone pair. Okay, so it is going to be tetrahedral. In case of I5 plus, how will it be? The bond pair is equal to 4, right? Because one iodine will be center. It will be bonded to 4 other iodine atoms. If you find the quotient, it's going to be half into number of lone pairs, valence electrons of central atom 7 plus number of monovalent atoms that are attached is 4 minus 1. So which is going to give you 5, right? So quotient is 5, which means it's going to be trigonal bipyramidal. So the correct answer is tetrahedral and trigonal bipyramidal. That is option B. Okay, let's move to the next question. Okay, in this question, they are asking us to find out the number of lone pairs, okay, that are present in the central atom of these atoms, okay, these compounds, these compounds. So the first one is BrF4 minus. In case of BrF4 minus, they are asking to find the lone pair only. So the bond pair is equal to 4. If you find the quotient, it's equal to half into valence electron of central atom is 7 plus monovalent atoms is 4 plus 1. So it's going to be 6. So therefore the lone pair is going to be 2. So the first one, the lone pair is going to be 2. Okay, so this cannot be the answer. Now move on to the next one. The next one is XeF6. Bond pair is equal to 6. So quotient is equal to half into 8 plus 6. So it's going to be 7. So the lone pair is equal to 1. So for the second one, the lone pair is 1. Okay, so this cannot be the answer. Now moving on to the third one. The third one is SbCl6 3 minus. Again the bond pair is 6. The quotient is equal to half into, this belongs to 5th period, so 5. So it is 15th group. So 5 valence electrons plus monovalent atoms is 6 plus 3. So the quotient is going to be 7 and the lone pair is equal to 1. Okay, here the lone pair is 1. So the correct answer is option C. So let's move to the next question. Okay, in this question they are asking the correct shape of these two molecules. What are they? One is TeF5 minus based on VSEPR theory. Okay, the correct shape of this molecule TeF5 minus. Okay, shape. Okay, so bond pair is equal to 5. Quotient is equal to half into tellurium belongs to oxygen family, so 16th group, so the valence electron is 6 plus monovalent atoms is 5 plus 1. Okay, so it's going to be 6. So the lone pair is going to be 1. Okay, so it's 51. What is 51? 51 is square pyramidal. So the answer is option B. Let's move to the next question. Okay, in this question, they are asking about the hybridization. What are the hybrid orbitals used for BRF3? If we have to find out BRF3, right? So bond pair is equal to 3. Now what about the quotient? If you find the quotient, you can find the hybridization. 7 plus 3. So it's going to be 5. If it is 5, what are the orbitals? sp3d. So the answer is option sp3d. So option C. In this question, they are asking us to find out the species which has a square planar structure. Okay. Okay, if you consider the first one, boron. So the bond pair is BF4 minus. Bond pair is equal to 4. If we find the quotient, no, half into valence electron of central atom plus number of monovalent atoms plus charge. Because minus 1, so you put plus 1. It's going to be 4. So the lone pair is equal to 0. Therefore, the shape is going to be tetrahedral. So this cannot be the answer. If you move on to FeCl4 minus, again it's tetrahedral. Why? Because in case of iron, no, what is the oxidation state? X minus 4 is equal to minus 1. So X is equal to plus 3. So it's going to exist as D5, right? So if I have to draw D5, 1, 2, 3 and then 4 and 5. Okay, this is 3D. Then what will we have? We will have 4s and 4p empty. Okay, this is 4s and this is 4p. Now check the type of ligand. We have chlorine. Chlorine is a weak field ligand, right? Chlorine is a weak field ligand. So it will not do pairing. Chlorine will not do pairing. So what will happen? Those chlorine atoms will get attached like this. Okay, one chlorine in S and the other 3 chlorines in P. So basically it's going to be sp3 hybridization, which means the shape is going to be tetrahedral. So again this is also tetrahedral. Okay. Okay, then if you check the next one, SF4. In case of SF4, the bond pair is equal to 4 and the quotient is equal to half into 6 plus 4, which is equal to 5, and the lone pair is equal to 1. So it is going to be 41. So what is 41? 41 is seesaw or distorted tetrahedral. So this also cannot be. If you check XeF4, no, the bond pair is equal to 4 and the quotient is equal to half into 8 plus 4, which is equal to 6. Therefore, the lone pair is equal to 2. If it is 42, the shape is going to be square planar. 41 is seesaw, 42 is square planar and 51 is square pyramidal. So the answer is option D. They are asking square planar only. Okay, let's move to the next question. Okay, in this question, they are telling you the xenon compounds that are isostructural. Okay, they are telling the xenon compounds that are isostructural with these two, IBr2 minus and BrO3 minus are. Okay, first we need to find out what the shapes of these two are. Okay, so one is IBr2 minus. If you consider bond pair is equal to 2 and quotient is equal to half into 7 plus 2 plus 1. So it's equal to 5 and lone pair is equal to 3, right? 5 minus 2, which is equal to 3. Now if it is 23, what is it? It's going to be linear. Okay, so IBr2 minus should have something which is isostructural, which means it should be linear. So bent cannot be and bent cannot be. Okay, now let's check the next one, that is BrO3 minus. Bond pair is equal to 3 and quotient is equal to half into 7 plus 1, which is equal to 4. So the lone pair is equal to 1. So if it is bond pair is 3 and lone pair is 1, what is it? It is going to be pyramidal, right? It's going to be pyramidal. Okay, so the correct answer is option A, linear and pyramidal. Okay, so let's move to the next question. Okay, in this question, they are asking the pair of compounds having the same hybridization for the central atom. So, both the central atoms should have the same hybridization. Just take the quotient value. In case of XeF4, quotient is equal to half into 8 plus 4, which is equal to 6. Okay, if quotient is equal to 6, it's going to be sp3d2. Okay, in case of SiF6, 2 minus, the quotient will be half into 4 plus 6 plus 2, right? The silicon will have 4 valence electron plus 6 plus 2. So it's going to be again 6. So again it's going to be sp3d2. So we got it right. So the answer is option A. Okay, such easy questions are usually asked from VSEPR theory. Usually chemical bonding, no, they ask VSEPR theory a lot, and that too in VSEPR theory, if you know the trick to solve the shapes of molecules, it's going to be very easy. Okay, in this question they are asking the geometry. Okay, they are asking the geometry. You have to keep in mind whether they are asking the geometry or shape. The geometry of this compound, what is it? ClF4 plus. So if we have to find out the geometry, ClF4 plus, just find the quotient value, that's sufficient. Half into number of valence electrons of central atom 7 plus monovalent atoms 4 minus 1. So it's going to be 5, right? So if the quotient is 5, it's going to be trigonal bipyramidal in geometry. Okay, let's move to the next one. This cannot be square pyramidal. Why? Because square pyramidal, the criteria is that the central atom should belong to either 5th or 6th period, and also the surrounding atom should be large. Here the central atom belongs to 4th period, right? 4th period, and the surrounding, sorry, 3rd period. This belongs to 3rd period, right? Fluorine belongs to 3rd period. Basically we have fluorine, chlorine, bromine and iodine. Fluorine is 2nd period, chlorine is 3rd period. And one more thing is the surrounding atoms are not large. Okay, so it cannot be square pyramidal. Okay, let's move to the next question. So this question tells, according to VSEPR theory, what is the shape of this compound? What is it? XeOF5 minus. Okay, so what is the bond pair? Bond pair is equal to 6, 5 fluorine and 1 oxygen. And if you have to find the lone pair, find the quotient first. Half into 8 plus number of monovalent atoms 5 plus 1. So it's going to be 7. So if the quotient is 7, lone pair is equal to 1. 7 minus 6, 1. So it is 61, right? See, 61 is basically pentagonal monopyramidal. Okay, we call it as pentagonal monopyramidal. So the answer is option D. Okay, let's move to the next one. In this question, they are asking us to find the shapes. Okay, they are asking us to find the shapes of these two. Which two? One is XeF5 plus, the other one is XeF5 minus. Okay, let's start. First is we have to find the shape of XeF5 plus. Okay, what is the bond pair? Bond pair is equal to 5. What about the quotient? Quotient is equal to half into 8 plus 5 minus 1. So it's going to be 6. And the lone pair is going to be 1. So it is 51. What is 51? 51 is nothing but square pyramidal. Okay, this is square pyramidal. Okay, now check the next one. It is XeF5 minus. So again the bond pair is equal to 5. But the quotient is equal to half into 8 plus 5 plus 1. So it's going to be 7, right? So the lone pair is equal to 2. Now it is 52. Okay, 52 is nothing but pentagonal planar. Basically, how will it look? XeF5 plus will look something, it's square pyramidal, right? So how will it look like? In case of XeF5 plus, xenon will be in the center. You have to put a square pyramidal shape. So 4 fluorine atoms will form a square. 1 fluorine atom will form the top of the pyramid. So XeF5, there is one lone pair, right? That locked by the bottom position. Basically, for shape we don't consider the lone pair. So we call it as square pyramidal. Okay, in case if you want the geometry, what will we say? The geometry is octahedral because we consider the lone pair also. In this case, we have square. What is this one? This is going to be pentagonal planar, right? 5 and 2. So it's going to be pentagonal planar because there are two lone pairs. Now how will this exist as? See, xenon is in the center. Okay, so you have to draw a pentagon. So this is one fluorine, this is another fluorine, this is one fluorine, and then you have two more over here. So what have I drawn? I have drawn a pentagon. Okay, so this is the pentagon. So 5 fluorine atoms have formed the pentagon, bond pair 5. Now 2 lone pairs are there, right? One will be on the top like this, another one in the bottom. So for shape, we don't consider the lone pair. So we call it as pentagonal planar. In case if we have to tell what is the geometry of this, what could be the geometry? It's going to be pentagonal bipyramidal because we consider the lone pairs now. So the geometry will become pentagonal bipyramidal, even though that is not asked. Okay, that is not asked. They are asking only the shape. So what is the correct answer? The correct answer is going to be option D. Okay, so that's all for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you so much for watching.